When you're carrying your most precious cargo, you depend on your vehicle's brakes for stopping. Now, making sure your brake pads are in proper working condition and making sure that you replace them when the time is right is not only going to save you money in the long run, but it potentially can save your life, in an accident and prevent the vehicle from, getting damaged. So Don, we think about, there's 7 things that we want to share with our audience today and let them know, about what's important to know about brakes. And the first question we always get asked is, how long do brake pads last on average?
On average, anywhere between 40,000 kilometers to 100,000 K.
Right, so depending on use and a lot of factors that come into play, right?
Yep.
Now we've got brake pads on the front and brake pads on the rear of the vehicle. Which ones wear out the fastest?
Typically the front.
Typically the front, why is that?
Because it does most of the braking.
It does most of the braking?
Yep.
Okay, and would that depend as well on the load or the type of vehicle?
Yeah, depend on the load also. If you got hitched up with a heavy trailer, you may go through rear brake pads a little bit more, but typically your front pads depend. Usually wears out first.
Right.
Yeah.
So then when we're thinking about replacing the pads, should the front and the rear pads be replaced at the same time, or can I do them separately?
You can do them separate.
All right. So what's that going to depend on?
It's you just replace them as they wear.
Okay, so should I replace only this brake pad, or would I do both the fronts together?
We do both the front together. Typically,
right?
Yep.
Or both the back together.
Yep. You don't have to do the set of fours, but if the front wears out, we do the whole set of fronts, and if the rear wears out, we do a whole set of rear. But,
okay.
Yep.
Right. So just when it needs it.
That's right.
Get those done in pairs, whether that's the front or the rears, or both together all at the same time. Don, how can I tell when the brake pads may need replacing?
There's all sorts of condition.
So I'm gonna look for something, or I'm gonna feel something, or I'm gonna hear something.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah.
What do we start with?
If they tend to grab real hard all of a sudden, that's a good indication that it might be doing that.
Okay.
The vehicle's pulling left or right,
then could be that.
The right brakes are grabbing harder than the left, let's say.
Okay, what about what I might hear?
Grinding, squealing. Squealing's the first indication.
Okay, maybe there's a bit of a chattering kind of a noise, or a groaning kind of a sound. All right.
Yep.
What might I feel?
You feel pulsation.
Pulsation in the brakes.
Yep, pulsation in the brakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about my steering wheel?
You can feel the shake in the steering wheel.
Might shake a little bit. Okay. And any kind of vibrations?
Yep. Vibration could happen.
All right.
Yep.
So guys, and if your brake pads are wearing out, these are really good telltale signs that they need to be replaced.
That's right.
Okay, that's perfect. Now then, is it safe to drive with the brakes in those kinds of conditions where we've seen those kinds of symptoms that we just talked about?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it is safe.
Wouldn't really recommend it, right? Now, what if they're just squealing? I'm just starting to hear a squeal.
You probably got a little bit to go, because that is a warning indicator that's built into the pads.
Yep. But if it goes beyond that into a grinding noise, should I really continue to drive?
Absolutely not. No. Bring it into the shop right away.
Yep.
If you let it go too far, it could be catastrophic.
What could happen? Like, what happens if you don't change bad brake pads?
Now you could start.
What happens here?
It could start grinding into the rotors.
Okay. And what's that going to do? Cause a lot of friction and heat buildup.
Yeah, that's right.
Which could lead to what?
Which could lead to no brakes at all.
No brakes at all.
Yep.
What can happen to the rotor itself?
The rotor is going to get destroyed.
It could crack.
Yep, that's right.
We're talking it could lead to a very nasty failure and an accident.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not safe to drive on brakes with these kinds of symptoms. And not only that, now instead of just the cost of replacing a bad brake pad, what am I facing?
Now you're talking rotor, possibly calipers, and whatever damage that's going to get done.
How far is the damage going to go, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you get your vehicle inspected, check the brakes if you hear anything or feel anything suspicious. Now you're ready to get replacement parts. What do you choose? There's a lot of brands to choose from. For your Ford, why would we choose the Motorcraft brakes and pad replacement parts?
They are made to OEM specification.
Right.
And they are lifetime warranty.
Lifetime warranty.
That's right.
Guys, that means it might be the last set of brake parts you ever buy again. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
That would be awesome, yeah.
Okay, so now they're engineered by Ford.
That's right. Yep.
So what does that really mean?
They fit exactly to to their specification
for that particular
vehicle. Yep.
Made to fit right. Okay. Now, and the last important thing I think here is it's installed by a trained technician. You receive factory-specific training. Am I right?
Yes.
Right. So what does that mean for a customer when we're installing brake pads?
Well, we're experienced to install them, and we install them as Ford require us to do it.
You got it. Guys, all of this means is that you're going to get your brake pads replaced when the time is right. It's going to save you money in the long run. You're going to have a safe vehicle, probably save your life or prevent you from getting in an accident in the first place. Hey, you know what? Hit that subscribe button that you see there flashing on the screen, and follow us along, guys. If you have any comments or questions, just drop that down below. We'd be happy to hear from you and answer any service questions that you might have. Thanks for watching.